I have to give a shout out before I get started with this story to LB for sending it to me. And they were asking me, would I do this as a triple P? But to be honest, I didn't really know much about this guy to do the whole triple P thing on him, to want to do one on him, although I easily could have, considering the circumstances. But I'm just going to do it this particular way this time. So if you don't know who this man is, this is Mike Richards. He was the guy that was set to replace Alex Trebek as the new permanent host for Jeopardy. Now, when I found out about this, I was sitting here saying to myself, wait a minute, I thought LeVar Burton was supposed to be the temporary replacement for Alex Trebek. What happened with LeVar Burton that they just kind of sidelined him and then brought this guy in? Like, who is he? Now, this guy right here was supposed to come in January, I believe in January, if I'm not mistaken, to start his run as the new Jeopardy host. But that looks like that's not going to happen because according to some sources, one in particular that I'm going to read from, there was some tweets that went out from him a couple years ago that resurfaced that jeopardized his job as being the new host of Jeopardy, and is now, people are questioning, are they going to now go to LeVar Burton? Me personally, if LeVar Burton was to turn it down, I wouldn't even be mad at him, because it's like you were supposed to pick him in the first place as a temporary host, but you just kind of put him to the side for this guy. And now he's out, and now you pretty much, as far as I know, don't have a host for your show. But let me go ahead and get into it. We'll take scandals that could have been avoided for 1200. Mike Richards is already out as the new host of Jeopardy amid backlash over his past remarks, and everybody's got jokes, and of course the more suggestions for his replacement. Richards informed the show staff that he was stepping down in an email Friday, writing that it has become clear that moving forward as host would be too much of a distraction for our fans and not the right move for the show. The behind-the-scenes saga has already distracted fans, though, with one Twitter user wondering how Jeopardy of all shows can fill the drama void left by Game of Thrones. Richards will remain as executive producer, and the show will return to a short-term guest host until a permanent one is chosen. So apparently he's already been doing this gig. I thought he wasn't supposed to come in until January. Maybe I misread that. Production on the new season of the quiz show, which just began Thursday with Richards as host, was canceled today. Richards taped 5 episodes of Jeopardy yesterday, all of which will air. An individual with knowledge of the situation tells The Wrap. On Wednesday, The Ringer reported on the existence of the Random Show, Richards' 2013 podcast, in which he repeatedly used offensive language and disparaged women's bodies. The podcast, recorded during his time as executive producer on The Price is Right, was co-hosted by Richards and his former assistant Beth Triffin, and ran for 41 episodes. The resurfaced podcast spurred wide calls for Richards' removal, including a request for an investigation into his comments from the Anti-Defamation League. Conversely, his resignation from the show, at least from in front of the camera, has led to an outpouring of celebrations, I told you so's, and all-around trolling. Here are some of the highlights, although we're partial to the sick burn from dictionary.com. Jeopardy is a noun meaning peril or danger. Here it is in a sentence. My job is in jeopardy because of my past comments. Someone else said, what a huge F up. And then it says, sorry, what is a huge F up? And if y'all don't get what they meant when they said it, basically they were answering it in the form of how a contestant would answer a question on Jeopardy, with starting with what is. Mike Richards tried to Cheney himself, but instead he got Scaramucci'd. I was looking forward to the season premiere when an exhaustive 61-clue search for the next Jeopardy champion, the show looks past the 3 obvious candidates and declares Mike Richards the winner. Someone else said, it's weird that Mike Richards, head of the Jeopardy host search, did not properly vet Mike Richards, the choice for Jeopardy host in an exhaustive search led by Mike Richards. I'll take not a good idea in the first place for 1200. Over to you, LeVar, meaning LeVar Burton. LeVar Burton, Aaron Rodgers, Ken Jennings, and Mayim Bialik in the Jeopardy group text. Mike Richards, I'm just reading some of them have like pics and stuff attached to it. Jeopardy is filling the drama vacuum left by the end of Game of Thrones. Now that Mike Richards is gone, there's only one choice for the new Jeopardy host, a really dumb guy who is constantly surprised by all the facts he's learning as he reads them out. Mike Richards is living in a Twilight Zone episode about a white guy who finally found someone to listen to his podcast. Whatever consultants you're using at Jeopardy, I would have said, don't hire your exec producer for half that price. After the second round of guest hosts, Jeopardy announces their new host, Reich Richards. Claire saved the best game show in history by listening to 40 episodes of a boring guy's tremendously unfunny podcast, A True American Hero. And of course, here are the hashtag Justice for LeVar tweets along with some of the other host suggestions. None of this had to happen. A fair process created an even playing field and an equal chance for everyone to shine is all it took. Newly named Jeopardy host hashtag Mike Richards steps down from the trivia show amid outcry over podcast comments, hashtag Justice for LeVar. And there's a whole bunch of tweets basically saying that they feel LeVar Burton should be the next host of Jeopardy, especially when it was suggested that he would be the temporary one, and everybody was going along with it because LeVar Burton, he has a fairly big base that a lot of people don't know about, because you got to think, he started off with Roots. Then, he did, of course, everybody remembers Reading Rainbow. And I think that's where most of his base came from. He went on to be on Star Trek. He did a lot of different things throughout his career. And some other things I can't really think of. I know he's probably done some other voiceover work as well. And he's a good fit. And he's even said that when they had asked him, could he be the temporary host until they found a permanent replacement, which could have been an auditioning piece for him to even become the permanent replacement. He even has said that it was his dream job to be a Jeopardy host, even if it was a temporary one. Of Alex Trebek had to step, like maybe went on vacation or whatever the case may be, just to be on that set and do what he was doing. But to be asked to be the temporary host, then he said that was a dream job for him. And then for him to get sidelined like that for this guy, I was like, where did that come from? That caught me off guard. And it's crazy because I actually talked about it, and I think it was in my live stream or a few live streams ago, where they were talking about LeVar Burton was going to be the next host or the temporary host for Jeopardy. And then a couple weeks later, we found out about this. I'm like, what happened to LeVar Burton? And I said he could definitely bring a lot of eyes to it to see how he would handle in that position, because I don't think there has ever been a black host for Jeopardy, because I think Jeopardy was for the most part always Alex Trebek, unless it was somebody before him. But we all know Alex Trebek is like the OG when it comes to that game. So it would have been interesting to see him in that position, but not to be outdone, because LeVar Burton had put out a tweet shortly after this announcement on his Twitter account, and it had 3 words: Happy Friday, people. And everybody in his comment section in the thread who left a comment were basically saying, the shade is real, or he and all types of stuff like that, because they knew it was a cryptic tweet, but it wasn't that cryptic. We knew exactly what he was saying when he said that, and at the time that he said it, he was like, happy Friday, everybody. And that was it. He didn't have to say anything more, because everybody knew what he was referring to when it came to this situation right there, which lets me know that somebody or somebodies over at Jeopardy must have did him dirty to say, we're going to let you have this temporary hosting job for Jeopardy, but we found the host to permanently do it, so now we don't need your services anymore. And then this comes out. Now they got to go back to doing temporary hosts until they get a permanent one. I said all of this, like someone said in the tweet, all of that could have been avoided if you would have just gave the job to LeVar Burton. But this is their own sword that they have to fall on, so they're going to have to deal with it. And the thing is, they had a quite a decent lineup of people they could have chose. So I'm like, what did this Mike Richards just kind of came out of nowhere? So I don't know. But this is partially Jeopardy's fault. Like the people who are the showrunners over there, that's partially their fault, because they said, they didn't vet this guy. They just picked him up and decided to put him on there, and now they're in another bind. They already filmed 5 episodes with this person for a show that runs every single night on ABC. So now they got to scramble and do the guest hosting again after they climbed themselves out of that hole, due to the passing of Alex Trebek. But this time they can't put it on, somebody died. They have to put it on, we didn't vet the person that we brought in to replace him, and his views on a lot of things that would be seen as controversial. But like I said, they had an opportunity to use LeVar Burton, and that could have been a very good thing. They could have brought more eyes and attention to the show, especially a lot of eyes from black people, because, you know, black people love to see when they're on or hosting these type of shows, or, you know, think of like Family Feud. Who are the black people rooting for the most? The black family. And if there's not a black family on there, and there's another white family against another family that's non-white, they'll root for the non-white family in some cases. But let's be real here. When it comes to Family Feud, most black people are rooting for the black family. We ain't got to pretend like that's not happening. But yeah, this is Jeopardy's issue they got to deal with. That, like I said, this is their own sword that they got to fall on, and this is their L they have to hold. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments.